we start, sir?
Yeah. On behalf of IAP TNSC and our President, Dr. Aram Sindil, our Secretary, Dr. Suresh Balan, and other IEB and OB members, I welcome one and all for this wonderful UG case presentation. This, I think, it's a third case presentation. Today we are going to discuss about nephrotic syndrome. Our moderator is actually our great stalwarts, Dr. P. Ramachandran PRC sir from Ramachandra Medical College, and Dr. Arul Kumaran from Sri Manakula Vinayagar Medical College. Today's the presenter is our Kirti Lakshmi from same Manakula Vinayagar Medical College. And this, I think, is the third presentation we are having. And we are having some few announcement. And hereafter, as usual, every Saturday, 2 to 3:30, we are having a huge class case presentation will be there. Our postgraduates also see this undergraduate case presentation. They want also classes. Hereafter, from October 3rd onwards, 7:30 to 9:30, we are having a postgraduate case presentation from DIEP platform we will have. And we are having monthly once, we are having a CME program and a particular topic related or systemized related with the credit points. We are having planning also credit points from Tamil Nadu Medical Council. So we are, that also we are planning, and so we can proceed. I'll hand over the mic to our today's moderator, Dr. PRC and Arul Kumaran. Take her, sir, please.
Good afternoon, sir. At the outset, I'm very much grateful for the IAP for giving us a chance to present this in this big forum. And I'm very much pleased to share this forum with Professor Ramachandran sir, who's great stalwart, and is also, we have seen growing by looking into his classes. So it is actually a great privilege for me to share this session with sir. Over to Sir Ramachandran.
Thank you, Dr. Rajendran, Dr. Tirumurugan, Professor Arul Kumaran. So it's a very good initiative by IAP TNSC. I think we all have to support and support our students in whatever way possible. So this initiative is extremely welcome. So let us really appreciate the students also who are coming here and participating in this. Okay, I congratulate the student who is also going to present. So if there is nothing else, we can just start with the case.
Okay, sir.
Share the screen, ma.
Sir, is the screen visible, sir?
Yeah, it's visible.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. My name is Kirti Lakshmi, a final year UG graduate from Manakula Vinayagar Medical College, Pondicherry. So, the case is Master Karthikeyan, a 4.5-year-old male baby, hailing from Vilupuram, brought by his mother, whose reliability is good, came with chief complaints of facial puffiness for 5 days and abdominal distension and swelling, leg swelling for the past 4 days. History of presenting illness. The child was apparently normal 5 days back. Then he developed facial puffiness first, and then followed with the abdominal distension and the leg swelling. So the swelling seems to get reduced as the day progresses. There is no history of decreased urine output, no history of passage of cola-colored urine, no history of any drug intake, no history of vomiting or yellowish discoloration, no history of diarrhea, no history of abdominal pain, no history of blood in urine, no history of burning micturition, no history of fever, rashes, and no history of any skin lesions, no history of difficulty in breathing, no history of orthopnea and P&D paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, no history of headache, and no history of altered sensorium. Past history, there was no history of similar complaints or illness in the past, No history of any sore throat in the past.
Can we stop here?
Yes, sir.
Can we just analyze the symptoms, whatever you have presented, so that we'll understand why you are asking all these questions? Because there are actually a history was only 4 lines, and negative history was probably 2 pages. So can you just tell us this child who had a problem 4 days ago? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just recapitulate the presenting symptoms and how it progressed.
Sir, the child started with the facial puffiness, and then the progressed to abdominal distension and leg swelling. Passage of cola-colored urine, I asked because to rule out the...
No. Yeah, just tell about this 4 days history. Okay, so abdominal distension, then later the swelling of the legs.
Yes, sir.
It was present throughout the day?
No, sir. It is present during the as soon as the child wakes up, and as the day progresses, the swelling gets resolved, sir.
You mean to say the child was having, when the child was getting up in the morning, the child has swelling all over the body?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? Because usually in conditions like renal problems, what is the diurnal variation, how the swelling usually appears and progresses?
Sir, I'm not able to get you, sir.
See, if a child has a renal problem, okay, usually the swelling is noticed at which time of the day? In the morning, early morning, or in the afternoon, or in the night? The puffiness, periorbital puffiness, is usually apparent at which part of the day? When the child gets up or later?
Later, sir.
Is it a participatory? Others also can talk? Is possible? Answer?
Hello.
Others can participate, or it will be just...
Yes, sir, yes, sir. They can participate, sir. Anybody else can are willing, sir. It's not just
Kirtika. Archana Devi.
Early morning.
Okay, Kirtika is answering.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
eyelid puffiness is seen in the early morning, sir.
Who is answering?
Kirtika, sir.
Okay, why Kirtika?
So the reason, I'm not sure.
Okay, can somebody else answer? Anybody can volunteer, unmute and answer. I need not call the names.
Sir, because
Geetanjali is available. Yeah. Just introduce yourself and then answer.
sir, this is Prashant from Madras Medical College.
Just tell your name and answer. Yeah, Prashant,
yes, sir.
go ahead, Prashant.
Sir, generally renal edema accumulates in the dependent parts. So after a sleep where the patient is in supine position for a longer time, it can accumulate in dependent areas like the eyelids, and like also after long standing also it can come down, sir. So sacral edema or pedal edema might be seen.
Okay, you're partly right. You said renal causes, there is a dependent edema. You mean to say non-renal causes like cardiac and others will not be dependent edema? You're partly right. Okay. So usually there are 3 major things we are going to look at, isn't it? When there is edema.
Like in cardiac causes, the patient will not be able to lie flat.
Very good. That is the most likely explanation. Usually a cardiac edema producing such severe edema, cardiac cause producing severe edema, patient cannot lie down flat. He will be recumbent, or frequently he will get up. So the chance of accumulation around the periorbital region is much less. It is not that it cannot occur. Compared to a renal cause where there is less respiratory distress, they are likely to lie down flat, and early morning the redistribution of the fluid occurs to the dependent part, which is the loose areas of the body, which is the periorbital region. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Among the renal problems, which is the one the child will be have some difficulty in lying down flat? Renal is a broad thing. Okay. Probably for your sake, you will have to know about 2 or 3 renal causes. One is the nephrotic syndrome. Another one is post-infective glomerulonephritis. Third is probably, so among these, which is the one the patient is likely to comfortably lie down, which is the one the patient may not be able to lie down?
The nephrotic syndrome, the patient will not be able to lie down.
All agree or somebody wants to disagree?
Sir, in nephrotic, the patient will be able to lie down. In nephritic,
Okay.
pulmonary edema or pulmonary
Who is
infiltrates, they are
answering?
not able to.
Prashant?
Prashant, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Prashant. Can I ask somebody, Kabilan is there?
Yes, sir.
Kabilan, why what he is telling is right. Can you explain why nephrotic syndrome patient is able to lie down flat? Post-infective glomerulonephritis, they are not able to lie down flat. If you don't know, we'll go to the next person. Please say it.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
No problem. No problem. Kirtana Krishnamurthy. Others, once you don't talk, you please kindly mute yourself. Only the person who talks unmutes. Kirtana Krishnamurthy. Leena. Selva Kumar, is he available? Okay, probably we'll come to that. Prashant, do you know the reason?
Sir, maybe because
Why?
of pulmonary edema that is seen with.
Okay. So we'll
chronic
probably
glomerulonephritis.
come to when we are talking about differential diagnosis, we will discuss it. Now we will proceed with the case. So what she said was 4 days history, and the child was having started with the periorbital region, then abdomen, then the legs. So it's also better for you to explain whether the early morning, the periorbital edema, puffiness was more, because usually in nephrotic syndrome, early morning it will be more. As the day goes on, it gets redistributed to the dependent parts. Once the child is upright, okay, it gets redistributed. That's the classical history you get in nephrotic syndrome. So that point you can just bring about. And can you just, I'm sorry, the person who presented, what's your name? Kita Lakshmi, yeah?
Kirti Lakshmi, sir.
Kirti Lakshmi. Kirti Lakshmi,
Yes, sir.
can you just tell 2 or 3 negative things why you asked them?
Sir, history of passage of
See, what you are
urine.
trying to, okay, let us not go into the individual. What are all the things you are trying to elicit by this negative history?
Sir, the first thing I want to rule out is
So you are
nephritic syndrome,
trying
sir.
to find out the, what is it? Whether it is the renal or cardiac or hepatic. Were you trying to find that out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is one. Like this, you just tell. What are the principles in which you ask this negative history? One is to know the etiology, the system affected. Second,
Complications.
before that, the etiology.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As we already said, in renal, the major 2 things we are going to discuss is nephrotic syndrome and post-infective glomerulonephritis. So which history will help you to differentiate whether it is nephrotic or post-infective, negative history?
History of
You
any
already told
skin
that.
lesions. Skin lesions, sir.
Very good. Skin lesions. Correct. Good
And?
point.
Streptococcus pyogenes.
Yeah, correct. Skin lesions,
So,
you are right.
So the skin lesions will, that organism will cause the post.
Agreed.
What are the other symptoms that you have looked at? Okay, the third point you have stressed on something about urine. Okay, what are the points you have asked about urine?
So whether there is any hematuria, that is blood in urine, whether the urine output has decreased.
Very good. So how does it help you? Kirti Lakshmi?
How does
If there is hematuria,
Cola-colored urine will help you.
Sir, the nephritic syndrome,
Very good.
the
Yeah.
patient will mainly present with the decreased urine output.
Right. So, I mean, that is not the absolute point, but more likely, oliguria is more likely to be seen in nephritic syndrome, even in early stages. In nephrotic syndrome, in the early stages, you may not see oliguria. Correct. That is what too. Cola-colored urine, how does it help you? Which condition you see?
Nephritic syndrome.
Nephritic syndrome. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Good. Okay. Then complications. Which complications you are looking for?
Sir, for any infections, if they are present, I ask for the history of fever with fever or rashes present.
Okay. Okay. Second. So you just have to keep in mind what are the complications of nephrotic syndrome, what are the complications of nephritic syndrome. So nephrotic syndrome, infections, correct. In nephritis, what complications?
You asked something about headache, no ma? You asked about headache.
Hypertensive encephalopathy, sir.
Ah, very good, very good, very good. Okay, so hypertensive. So you are asking history of, what history did you ask for hypertensive encephalopathy?
Headache, sir.
Headache or altered sensorium or sometimes even convulsions, okay, or blurring of vision. All these are going to be useful. The second important complication, already Prashant has told that is?
Difficulty in breathing, pulmonary edema.
Very good, pulmonary edema. Okay, so hyperolemia, congestive cardiac failure, pulmonary edema. So that is the other thing. So when you are asking the negative history, keep why you are asking and try to correlate when the examiner asks you. Because in nephrotic syndrome, if you get a case in a final year examination, it will be mostly discussion only. There may not be much clinical findings. So please be prepared to answer these questions. Sir, Arulmurugan sir, anything else you want to highlight?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody wants to ask any questions at this point of time, which is not clear and you think something else was missed? You are free to point out. Please, it's a combined learning. It's not just teaching. Okay, there is nothing else? Or you can put things in your chat box also. If you don't want to say something, you can put in the chat box also. We'll look into it. Can we proceed, Kirtalakshmi?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, past history, sir. There was no similar illness in the past. There was no history of sore throat. There was no history of jaundice. No history of any skin infection, sir.
So why you want to ask about history of similar illness in the past?
So nephrotic syndrome is a condition where the recurrences and the relapses are more. Antenatal history, sir. It was uneventful. The developmental history, development is attained till date. Nutritional history, adequate proteins and carbohydrates and the other vitamins are taken. Natal history, he was a term baby and was delivered by lower cesarean section due to the indication was previous LSES and cried immediately after birth, and there was no history of NICU admission, no history of umbilical cord catheterization, and the baby was breastfed after 1 hour of birth. Immunization history, immunized till date. Family histories are, their parents are done a non-consanguineous marriage. No history of similar complaints in the family members. No history of any seizures or bronchial asthma. No history of contact with any known case of pulmonary tuberculosis. Summary, sir.
Dr. Kirtalakshmi?
Boy came with
Dr. Kirtalakshmi?
Yes, sir.
In
yes,
the
sir.
history, immunization, can you just go back to immunization?
Yes, sir.
What is the importance of immunization in relevance to this child?
Sir,
because every history you take, you're always going to take antenatal, natal, postnatal. You are going to take development. You are going to take nutrition history. You are going to take immunization history, you are going to take socioeconomic status history, family history. But certain things have got certain importance in each condition, isn't it? If you
Yes,
are discussing a child with cerebral palsy, we'll be attaching more importance to antenatal, natal history and developmental history.
yes,
We are going to talk about some child with a protein energy malnutrition. We'll be talking more about the diet history. Okay. Likewise, in this child, the immunization history has got some importance. Can you just tell why?
Sir, they precisely keeping it as a nephrotic syndrome. The baby's complication will be infection, sir. So the baby must have taken the especially the pneumococcal vaccines and all, so that can prevent the infections in the upcoming.
So probably instead of just selling that this thing, the child has not had any optional vaccine. Did you mention that, or I didn't get it?
Yeah.
Did you mention that the child did not get any other vaccines other than national vaccines?
No, sir.
It's better you mention that. Okay, that
Okay,
negative history will be useful. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Of course, hepatitis B, I presume the child would have definitely received because it's a national immunization schedule. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Dr.
Fine.
Kirti Lakshmi, I think you have to take a nutrition history also. This pediatric per se, as SR said, no, that development one thing, another one is immunization, third one is nutrition. I don't miss the nutrition history. Huh? Okay.
As a matter of fact, the examiner may not ask you anything about nephrotic syndrome. They may ask you only about development. They may ask you about nutrition because they are not interested in finding out whether you know about nephrotic syndrome. They are more interested in knowing about the normal things about a child. Okay. So please always take the detailed history, document it, especially if it's a long case. And the examiner may sometimes ask you to give you the answer paper. Then you should be prepared to have documented everything,
Okay, sir.
especially the diet history.
Okay, sir. We'll correct it next time, sir.
Why diet was missed in this child? So never go with an idea that it is a nephrotic syndrome, okay? Because it's very, very important, especially by chance, sometimes you find this child a short stature. Okay, then the examiner will go back and ask, why did you get the details about the diet? Okay.
Okay.
So please don't forget the routine things. Okay. How old is this child?
4.5 years.
Does the child go to school?
Yes, sir.
Which class?
He's going from LKG to UKG, sir.
Okay. How many children are there?
Single child, sir.
Single child. Okay. What is the father?
Sir, he's doing business, sir.
All these are important. Okay. Please remember that we are not dealing with some just simple scientific facts. We are dealing with a family. So in pediatrics is always the whole family is given a lot of importance. What is the status of the father? What is the status of the mother? Is this mother pregnant by any chance?
No, sir.
All this may have a relevance on the management of the child. Okay?
Okay,
If this
sir.
father during the lockdown period, the COVID period, is not having an employment, you have to keep all that in mind whenever you are advising some treatment.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and the mother's status, clinical status is also important. Okay.
I think you have to ask socioeconomic status. That simply what is SR is telling, socioeconomic status. Huh? Okay.
And any long-term illness, that is very important. Not only that, you may have to even ask about what is the nearest place they can go for some treatment. For example, if they are coming from a village during an acute some problem, let us say breathlessness or something, child is septic shock, you should find out what is the nearest hospital. Some complication, they may not be able to come to your institute. Okay. So all these informations are relevant in chronic illnesses. Socioeconomic status, access to the medical treatment, affordability, what are the support systems they are having. For example, children with cerebral palsy, you should know whether they are getting all the railway pass, governmental money, whatever it is available, whether they are getting it. All this information will go to make you actually a good basic doctor. Okay, we are not talking about pediatrics alone. A good basic MBBS doctor should be able to work well in a community setting, a good family doctor. That is what we are trying to elicit whenever you are taking the history and examination.
Okay.
Please keep that in mind.
Okay.
Never lose that perspective. Never be bothered, be focused only on the case.
Okay.
Can you summarize? No? Sir, do you want to ask anything, Dr. Arul Murugan?
Yes, sir. Actually, she would have written a little more better on socioeconomic history, sir. That is probably missed, and dietary history also has mentioned by you. Should have been elaborately written on because as a pediatric case, we concentrate on asking some questions on proteins and what are the calories that child has taken and the required calorie for the different age groups, as mentioned by you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. So far, you have done very well. See, you have got all the important things. So just these things probably were just by oversight, they were missed. Doesn't matter. Okay, just make it up next time when you are presenting. These things also, so you don't forget. Okay, good. Please proceed.
Yeah, you have to take the criticism as betterment. Huh? Okay.
No, they're not even a criticism. Because I even forgot. I didn't even ask. See, Dr. Rajendran is promptly, Dr. Arul Murugan and Rajendran, they promptly asked. Okay, so we do forget. Nothing wrong. Okay. You're doing well. Please proceed. Give the summary.
Dr. Kirti? Dr. Kirti Lakshmi?
Hello? Dr. Kirti Lakshmi?
Looks like her net maybe looks like she's logged off, sir. Maybe her net problem.
Yeah. Because there is some problem because it's her name is not appearing.
Unmute pencil. Yeah, contact number Arul Murugan. Arul Murugan contact number.
I'll contact her, sir. I'll contact her.
Relock pencil.
Hello.
Meanwhile, can we just ask somebody else? Can I ask, let us say, Sri Bala is available? Sri Bala? Okay. Amjit is available. Amjit Mon.
Yes,
Anand.
sir.
Are you Amjit Mon?
Yes, sir.
Amjit Mon, can you just tell what is the calorie and protein requirement for this child, 4-year-old child? Approximately. You don't have a chart with you. So just approximately bedside calculation. A 4-year-old child, approximately what will be the weight?
Sir, weight 15 kg.
Correct. Around 15-16 kg. You are right. And what will be the calorie requirement? What will be the protein requirement? Normal child.
So for normal.
Using Holiday's Sagar formula, you have something about what are the requirements using Holiday's Sagar formula. So 16 kg, so up to 10 kg, what is exactly, and from 10 to 20, what is the calorie requirement?
Sir?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, calorie requirement 1,300.
Okay, 1,400 or 1,300 is correct. Protein requirement?
Sir, 23, sir. 23 gram. 23.
Okay, 23 grams. It's quite a good approximation. Okay, so you always you should also have the bedside calculation so that you don't make any gross mistakes. Sometimes when you go only by chart, if you are not seen properly, sometimes you may make a mistake. So you should also know bedside rapid calculation, how we can do it. Very good.
Okay, sir.
Fine.
Okay,
You are from which place?
Kerala.
Amjit Mohan, you are from which Which college?
Kerala, sir. Kerala.
Which
Sir,
college?
Sri Venkateshwara Medical College, sir. Sri Venkateshwara Medical College.
Venkateshwara. Okay, thank
Puducherry.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kirti, so I think it's
Yes, sir.
arrived. Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption, sir.
Yeah, you put your video on also. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm on.
Kirtilakshmi, you're connected back.
Yes, sir.
You can go back to your summary slide.
Summary slide.
The probable diagnosis, the probable system involved is renal system.
Yes, summary.
The 4.5 years old male boy came with chief complaints of facial puffiness for 5 days, abdominal distension and leg swelling for 4 days, with no history of hematuria, no history of skin lesions, and no history of similar complaints in the past. So the probable diagnosis is the probable system involved is renal system, and as there is no hematuria and no history of hematuria and no history of skin lesion, the probable diagnosis is nephrotic syndrome.
Okay. Lakshmi, one more thing you can probably include in your history is a treatment history. Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes they may take some treatment and that may alter the clinical picture. For example, before coming to your hospital, they might have gone to some practitioner, you might have given some diuretic, or you might have even started on some steroids, or some other hospital, they might have started some steroids. So the child might be feeling even better. The symptoms may be less when they come to your place. So always include the treatment history also.
Okay.
Whether it is nephrotic syndrome, whether it is rheumatic heart disease, whether it is acute gastroenteritis, or bronchiolitis, or asthma. Okay. Always include the treatment history. Even if it is not taken also, you please mention that.
Okay, sir.
Okay. I mean, it's not simply telling the treatment. What is the impact of the treatment and the clinical course? That also you have to say.
Okay.
And generally, you have to present in the examination till the point of that day examination. Do not present as if you might have actually seen that case and you may know the presenting symptoms. Don't present only with that. You present as on the day of examination, the clinical status.
Okay,
sir. That is always a good thing. That will give a good impression to the examiner that you are actually seeing the child that day and you are presenting. Not from some past, some record, you are not presenting. Okay. Good. Proceed.
General examination, sir. The child was conscious, oriented to time, pleasant person, active and alert, no icterus, no pallor, no icterus, no cyanosis, no clubbing, no lymphadenopathy, and no skin lesions. Bilateral pitting pedal edema present. Vitals.
One thing, I'll stop here.
Yes, sir.
Where do you look for pallor? We are very unfortunate that we can't have a clinical exam. Can you just tell me which are the places you look for pallor?
Sir.
You got this.
Sir, the pallor, probable palpable conjunctiva, and tongue, nails, sir, and the inner aspects of the palms.
Okay. So, sir, there can be like this. Sometimes questions asked in between also. So you be prepared to think and answer. Don't think that they will wait for you till you complete your history. Okay. One examiner may ask sometimes in between. Okay. So don't get flustered. You should be prepared to answer that.
How do you demonstrate pedal edema, Kirti Lakshmi? How do you demonstrate pedal edema? Where you?
Sir, the patient is. The baby is put in a supine position, and the pressure is applied over the just above the medial malleolus for 30 seconds, and then see for the recoiling of the how fast the edema recoils.
Okay, proceed.
Okay. Vitals, pulse 92 beats per minute, blood pressure 102/60 millimeters of mercury, respiratory rate 28 breaths per minute, temperature afebrile, and all the peripheral pulses are felt.
Kirti Lakshmi.
Yes, sir.
When will you call this child to have fast breathing? I won't ask you. I will ask somebody else. Akash Kumar, can you say? This is a 4-year-old child. When will you call this child to have fast breathing or tachypnea?
Sir, if the child has acute respiratory tract infection like severe pneumonia.
No. The rate, number of breaths.
In the cutoff value.
More than 60 beats.
No, this child is 4 years.
4 years.
Dashwant.
More than 40 breaths per minute, sir.
Very good. More than 40 breaths per minute. Okay. So this child has only 28. So it's within the normal limits. Okay. So always whenever you are talking about the values, you should also know whether it is what is the cutoff. Good. Proceed,
Kirtana, what is the fifth vital sign? Saturation. Always you have to look for the saturation. Okay, I think you have to fifth one you have to add. Previously we are not having the pulse oximeter. We are having all even OPD we are having pulse oximeter. I think you have to add saturation always. Okay, right.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Proceed.
Anthropometry, sir.
Proceed.
Weight.
Fine.
Weight 18.1 kg. Height 106 centimeters. So weight by height. Head to toe examination. Face periorbital puffiness. No dysmorphic features. No skin lesions and no cataract.
Keitha Lakshmi.
Yes, sir.
What is the nutritional status of this child?
Normal.
I will ask somebody. See, Anjit, I already asked. Okay. Arunan Pariyasamy Pasupati, are you available? Okay. Divya is available. Gayatri Khanna, available. Gausalya. Do you understand the question?
Yes, sir.
Can you assess the nutritional status in this child?
With the help of weight and height.
Can you say, yes, this is the nutritional status at this point of time?
Child is having something more, okay, edema is there.
So this child has got edema now, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So the weight may be
More.
spuriously more. So your nutritional status assessment may not be accurate. Okay, so there may be some limitation. So you can say at this point of time, this is it. I will reassess this child once the edema disappears to exactly know the nutritional status. Do you get the point?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so everything is in the context of a particular case or the particular child. There is nothing like standard questions. These are the questions going to be asked. In that case, whether you are thinking while you are examining, that is what is being actually tested, okay, in the clinical examination. Proceed. Face periorbital puffiness, no dysmorphic features, no skin lesions, no cataract. Fantastic. Okay.
Examination of the abdomen, sir. Inspection. Sir, the child was asked, the consent was asked to the mother, and the child was exposed from the xiphisternum to the mid-thigh, and then the inspection was done. So inspection, I looked for the shape of the abdomen, which is uniformly distended, flanks full, and the umbilicus was slit shape. All quadrants of the abdomen moves equally with the respiration. There was no dilated veins over the abdomen, no visible gastric or intestinal peristalsis. Skin over the abdomen is normal, hernial orifice free, and external genitalia, no scrotal edema. Palpation, superficial palpation. There was no local warmth and tenderness, no guarding or rigidity, no divarication of the recti. Deep palpation, Liver, the liver was palpable 1 centimeter below the right posterior margin. Spleen was not palpable. Percussion, the liver span is 7 centimeters. There was no fluid thrill, but shifting dullness was present. Auscultation, bowel sounds were heard, no added sounds. Examination of the other system.
How is the abdomen? It is distended,
Yes, sir, uniformly distended, sir.
but still there is no fluid thrill.
No, sir. Shifting dullness was only present, sir.
Okay, when the abdomen is distended, skin is normal. Huh? It is not stretched
sir.
or anything. Okay,
No, sir.
fine. Okay, fine. You are telling there is no tenderness. If you find tenderness, what will you suspect?
Spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, sir.
Very good. Okay, so that's the clinical sign. You have got the correlation. Fine, very good. Good point. Okay.
Sir, examination
So what are you
of
actually
the,
looking for in abdominal examination in this child?
What is the significance of looking into the abdomen? Huh? Sir is asking about what is the significance of looking into the abdomen.
sir, one is the amount of, to roughly estimate the amount of fluid in the peritoneal cavity.
Okay.
When is a small amount of fluid, how will when is it?
Sir, puddle sign, sir.
How do you do it? Like, can you just tell?
The patient will be held in a knee elbow position, and we'll wait for 5 minutes so that all the fluid collects in the dependent area. Then we'll focus over around the umbilicus area, so which will be dull, which was previously resonant on a supine position.
Will you do a puddle sign in this child?
No, sir.
Why not?
The baby will not be cooperating, and it will be very.
No, he is
difficult
cooperative. Let
to
us
be
say a
able to-
6-year-old child or 8-year-old child.
Yes, sir. So, but this for this child, shifting dullness is
Very good.
positive,
See,
sir.
that is the answer. See, when you have fluid thrill, you don't have to do shifting dullness. When you have shifting dullness, you don't have to do puddle sign. So there is a hierarchy of clinical examination. When something is very obvious, so much is there, you don't have to look for a minimal sign. Okay. So that is the correct answer. Very good. Carry on.
Examination of the.
So this
other
child, you did an
systems.
abdominal examination to find out, Gita Lakshmi? This child, the abdominal examination was done to find out the amount of fluid. What else? And any tenderness?
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Any palpable mass?
Associated
Any palpable mass?
liver, sir.
Liver,
Liver, sir.
correct. And
Spleen.
spleen. So you are one of the differential diagnosis, a liver disease, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So what will you see if it is a liver disease? Let us say something like a cirrhosis, which is also producing anasarca, generalized fluid accumulation. What will you find in the abdomen?
Sir, the liver span will be decreased, sir.
Okay, correct. There will be a shrunken liver, contracted liver, so the liver span will be less than the normal.
And a consistency of the liver will be firm, sir,
Okay,
and non-tender.
okay. What else will you see if it is a cirrhosis?
Look the
Cirrhosis to
signs of
produce-
liver cell failure, sir.
No, in the abdomen.
Anything else?
So
you
what is
would
the consequence of the liver, other than liver cell failure? Cirrhosis will produce what other problem?
Portal hypertension, sir.
So what will be the
Portal
clinical signs in the abdomen?
Dilated veins around the umbilicus.
Okay, and
In the flanks. And a patient will have a history of
no, one more organ.
splenomegaly, sir.
Yes. See, think and answer. Okay. There is nothing very great. Whatever you are doing every day in examination only will be asked. Okay. Right? All of this you would have done. But still when you are answering, you have to just remember. Okay, that's all. Right. Good. You know the things. Okay. Proceed.
The examination of the cardiovascular system. First and the second heart sounds are heard in the mitral, tricuspid, aortic, and pulmonary area. No other added sounds. Examination of the respiratory system. Air entry in the both the lungs is equal. No added sounds. And examination of the central nervous system. No focal neurological deficits.
What are the importance, K.T. Lakshmi, of looking into the other systems pertaining to your case?
Sir, in serious, the patient has MS-ARCA. The pericardial effusion can occur, sir. So, to look for that serious, and hydrothorax in case of a respiratory system. And for the CNS, the complication of a nephrotic syndrome is thrombosis. So, there can be an thrombosis in the cerebral arteries. So,
It is the PSGN. Then what are the things you want to look at the respiratory system? Apart from decreased air entry, anything you want to see, like which sir has also asked about in the history.
Sir?
What else you want to look in the respiratory system apart from decreased air entry? Anything you want to see in the respiratory system?
Bilateral crepitations.
Correct. For?
Congestive cardiac failure.
Yeah, correct. Okay, fluid overload, pulmonary edema. You are telling all this, so you'll be looking for that. Okay. And sometimes you will get in children nephrotic syndrome only by history. By the time you get in the examination, all the clinical signs of nephrotic syndrome would have disappeared. But the child may still have some facial fullness or puffiness. Nothing else will be there. At that time, what you should look for? Clinical signs. There are two phases in nephrotic syndrome. The first week in the hospital, they will have all edema, everything. The second week, third week, they may not have that much of edema, but they will have some other features. What are they? Due to the treatment.
Sir, the proteinuria will get resolved.
Due to the treatment. I gave you the clue.
Steroid toxicity, sir.
So, you'll have to look for
Steroid toxicity features.
So, what are all will be the features you will look for?
The baby will have Cushingoid faces.
Yes.
Then on the eye, the baby will have subcapsular cataract.
Okay.
And
so you know these things. Okay. Okay. Please.
Yes,
okay. So depending on the stage which you are seeing, probably this child you won't expect because only 5 days. It is sometimes you may get sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks cases. In the exam there may not be any case. They may just keep that child for you. Only the history, from the history you'll have to make a diagnosis that it is nephrotic syndrome. But look for clinical signs of steroid toxicity at that point of time. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you completed the examination?
Yes,
over?
sir.
Exam is over? Okay.
Sir, what exam, sir?
No. Have you completed the examination, physical examination?
Are you
Yes, sir.
completed? I think you are. Don't miss the 10th quadrant always. Huh? Okay, that is genitalia. And you are tell about the back
She
also
mentions
always. Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
That is spinal skeletal muscular system also. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, summary, sir.
Right.
A 4.5-year-old boy who was brought with chief complaints of facial puffiness for 5 days and abdominal and leg swelling for 4 days, which gets reduced as the day passes, with no history of hematuria, no history of skin lesions, with no history of any similar complaints in the past. And on the examination, the blood pressure is normal, the liver span is 7 centimeters, shifting dullness is present, and no other significant findings. So the probable diagnosis is nephrotic syndrome without any complication.
We also left the pedal
Diagnosis.
examination has pedal edema too.
Okay.
Pedal edema. Child also has pedal edema on examination. Blood pressure is normal and you have shifting dullness.
Do you have any differential diagnosis, Kirti Lakshmi?
So differential diagnosis will be nephritic
No,
syndrome.
do you have any nephritic syndrome? Can I ask Kalyani Mohan? Is she available? Kalyani Mohan? Mohana? Yadini? Nivedita? Safrina? Sneha Venkatesh? Sona Kumaran? Looks like I'm taking attendance. Nobody is responding.
So,
Okay, Kirti Lakshmi, yourself answer. What will be your differential diagnosis in this child? Is it only nephrotic syndrome or and how you differentiate from the other common conditions?
Sir, the prospect of edema alone, I suspect nephrotic syndrome,
Okay.
a cardiac failure or a hepatic failure, sir.
So how will you differentiate it from post-infective glomerulonephritis? Can you just summarize now?
Sir, the nephritic syndrome, the child will have a history of skin lesions,
Okay,
hematuria, and a
may have
decreased
skin lesions.
urine output,
Okay.
a decreased urine output, oliguria, blood in the hematuria, sir, and there will be on vitals, the patient will have a raised blood pressure, hypertension, sir.
Okay. And you may have features of pulmonary edema or congestive cardiac failure also, isn't it? So usually those children will be, which children are more symptomatic? Nephritic children or nephrotic children?
Nephritic children, sir.
If you see two patients, one child is very comfortable, sitting happily. Another child is not that this thing. Which is the one likely to be nephritis? Comfortable child or uncomfortable child?
Uncomfortable child, sir.
Why?
Sir,
Both are renal problems, no?
yes, sir. As already said, the nephritic syndrome baby will have a pulmonary edema, sir.
Very good, very
So
good.
it will have a difficulty in breathing, so it will be uncomfortable.
You're right. Okay. Well, correctly said. Okay. How did you differentiate it from hepatic cause?
Sir, the
Liver failure?
the order of the edema occurrence, sir. The hepatic, if it is going to be hepatic failure, the abdominal distension will be the first, and then the pedal edema, and then the facial puffiness, sir.
Anything else?
There is no history of jaundice,
Yes.
sir, and
Okay.
absence of interest.
Yes. And these children
And
will
the
be
liver was also not enlarged, sir.
Yeah, may not be enlarged,
And
can be contracted also.
Cells of
There was-
signs of liver cell failure will be there, sir.
Okay. Other thing is these children are chronically ill. It doesn't happen over 4 or 5 days alone. Very long duration, they will be having anorexia, not doing well, lethargic. It's okay. Cardiac, how did you differentiate in this child?
The cardiac edema will be first be dependent on that pedal edema, then the abdominal distension and the facial puffiness. And there was no history of any orthopnea, and the NDN was not, the patient was also not dyspneic.
Okay.
And the examination, cardiovascular examination, the S1, S2 was heard, and there was no other added sounds and all.
Very good. Fine. Okay. So your diagnosis, probable diagnosis, is nephrotic syndrome.
Yes, sir.
Without any complication. First episode, correct?
Yes, the first episode.
First episode. Okay, right. So, so far, do we have anybody asking any questions, any doubts? Any doubts, anybody?
Sir, one
Shall
doubt,
we-
sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in case of nephrotic syndrome and steroids are given, so how many weeks does it take for the symptoms to develop, sir? Like cataract will develop in 2 weeks.
No, not cataract. Mainly the Cushing-Arch phase, okay, and the weakness of the proximal weakness of the limbs. These are the earliest thing to appear, which will appear in about
Okay,
1
sir.
week to 10 days time. The
Will the
cataract and all
petechiae
will take
always
months
appear,
together.
sir?
No, petechiae are all uncommon.
Okay,
They
sir.
may develop some hair on the mild hirsutism after about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. The earliest thing to appear is only the Cushing-Arch phases. Rarely, you may get sometimes even a hypertension because of the steroids.
Okay, sir.
Okay. The common things are Cushing-Arch phases and proximal muscle weakness. Who is asking this question?
Sir, Prashant.
Prashant, I will ask you one more question.
Yes,
How
sir.
will you know the child is having a
Yes, sir.
weakness of the muscles?
So the child will not be able to get up strains.
Very good, very good. So that is classical of what type of myopathy?
Gower signs, sir.
No, don't say
Duchenne
Gower
muscular.
sign. It will only be able to just get up from sitting position. Proximal myopathy.
Yes, sir.
Steroid toxicity. Okay. All the other things like osteoporosis, all those things will take a long time. Okay. Probably
Yes,
the
sir.
other thing which you may see is gastritis. Some children may have some epigastric pain or tenderness. Okay. But we don't see any of these complications that much in clinical practice. But occasionally, some children may develop this.
May also complain of increased appetite. Mother may also complain to us to increase appetite once the treatment is started.
And very rarely, some children may be quite euphoric. Slightly, they will be more boisterous. Some mild behavioral changes may be seen. Okay. But luckily, all these are very unusual. Compared to adults, the steroid, this thing is not that much in children. Okay. Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now the questions is, how are you going to manage this child? Kirti Lakshmi, you can start. Then we can ask others.
Investigation, sir.
See, just to add
routine
value to your
investigation versus,
diagnosis, Kirti Lakshmi,
Yes, sir.
just add some more this thing to your diagnosis. You can even say that this child is of normal nutritional status by your current assessment. Okay. Any child, any system you present in pediatrics, always make a remark about the nutritional status.
Okay.
Okay. Whether it is a cardiovascular or abdomen, or you are presenting a child with asthma, always say it's a normal nutrition. Okay. Or it's some grade 1 wasting or grade 2 wasting or stunting. Okay, that tells you an added thing. Second thing is, this child, one more thing you missed in examination. What is that? Anybody would like to point out what Kirti Lakshmi could have added to actually enhance the presentation? One important thing, documentation. Kirti Lakshmi, yourself, do you remember? Can you recapitulate? Always put a growth chart. Okay, whenever you are presenting, always include the growth chart. Okay.
She has mentioned about the previous slide. She has mentioned, but if you're not told between +1 to +2,
okay.
Is it scoring? She has mentioned.
Okay, no, I am telling you, you put the growth chart itself.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you use up to 5 years. You use the WHO or it's called IAP also, the growth chart, and you mark the weight and the height, everything. Okay, this should become a permanent record for that child. So every time they come to your hospital after 1 month or 2 months, along with all the records, they should bring this also.
Yeah. Dr. Kirti, why is Saris asking growth chart the particular child?
Sir, one thing is now the baby is having edema, sir. Once we start the treatment, the weight will reduce. Sir. One way it will help
Okay.
us to assess that whether edema is decreasing or not. And
You are adding steroid and what happened to growth?
What are the drugs, Mark? Drugs to have it.
Drugs related. Huh? Okay.
short stage, sir.
You are giving no
Short
that.
stage, sir.
That's why you have to monitor the height. That we are worried about the height. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
we are going for any drug-induced short stature. You have to always document it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Sir, anything else you want to ask Dr. Rajendran or Arul Kumar, sir? Shall we proceed to this thing?
Will you confirm your diagnosis?
Yeah. Yeah, confirm your diagnosis by what means?
Sir, I'll ask for first routines or complete blood counts and urine examination, sir. To assess
And
the
every test you say, you must say why you want to say that. Do that.
yes, sir. Urine protein, sir. The baby will have proteinuria to assess the
No. You said complete blood count. Why do you want a complete blood count?
to check whether there is any associated anemia, mild anemia, sir. If there is some
Okay, say that. Okay.
low grade infections and all, the
So
30%
instead of
count
telling
will
like
be
this,
increased.
complete blood counts, it says specifically, I will do the hemoglobin level to,
Okay, sir.
yes, I'll do a total leukocyte and differential count to find out any infection. Like this, it's better you say that.
Okay, sir. Then I'll.
Your connection is broken. Sir, are we able to hear? I'm not able to hear Geeta Lakshmi.
Dr. Kirti Lakshmi?
Sir?
Can you hear, Ma?
Yes, sir.
Just stop sharing.
Are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you just tell me what is exactly sir is asking about urine examination? What is the relevance of urine examination with your case? What are the investigations you do in the urine?
Sir, the child will have a proteinuria, sir. So to assess the proteinuria, I'll do first the urine protein assessment, that is a heat coagulation test, sulfosulfuric test, and dipstick test to assess the amount of proteinuria. And to
How much
assess
will
the,
be getting in a nephrotic syndrome? What will be the range when you do a dipstick test?
sir, it will be heavy proteinuria ranging from 3+ to 4+, sir. And the protein loss will be from more than 150 to 300 or more than 300 milligram per deciliter. And to monitor the urine.
What are the other tests in urine you want to see?
Other tests, sir?
In the urine. Some other differential diagnosis you have in your mind. Okay, so you did the urine.
Sir, for the red cell cast in the urine to rule out the nephritic syndrome, because there will be hematuria.
Otherwise, we can look for a hyaline cast.
The hyaline cast in the nephrotic
for the MCN. Okay, and the granular cast for the. You look for cast, no? That one is hyaline, another one is granular cast. Okay,
Yes.
for what? Granular for what?
Focal segmental.
Yeah, that's all other secondary glomerular conditions. Okay, right. Are you going to look for RBC or not? Okay, that's important thing is you have to look for the RBC also. And are you going to look for the pus cells, bacteria? Sometimes you have to rule out the
UTL.
Yeah, UTL also. You have to always rule out. Okay. One ratio you will check in urine. What ratio you will check?
Protein creatinine ratio, sir.
For nephrotic syndrome, what's ratio will be there?
More than 3, sir.
Okay.
Then to monitor the urine output, I'll monitor 24 hours urine output, sir. Then
or you can do simply a urine spot protein creatinine ratio. as mentioned by sir. It's spot protein creatinine ratio more than 2 is very relevant.
Yes.
Any of the blood investigations you also told about urine examination in detail that you look for protein, you look for RBCs also that to differentiate it from nephritic, and you do a urine spot protein creatinine ratio or 24-hour urine protein is possible. Okay. Then what are the other tests to confirm the diagnosis? Apart from urine, what are the other tests that you will do?
Sir, serum blood examination to look for the immunoglobulin, sir. Where IgG will be decreased and the IgM immunoglobulin will be increased and the albumin globulin ratio will be reversed. Then I'll look for the lipid profile,
Serum
sir.
albumin will be too much. In nephrotic syndrome, what will be the range? Serum albumin will be less than how much?
2.5 gram per deciliter, sir. And for the lipid profile, sir, VLDL and the LDL will be more and the HDL will be moderate or normal.
So what? Simply what you will do. So the liver lipid profile will be too costly. So any specific, okay, one important thing that you will do in nephrotic syndrome. What about cholesterol levels?
More than 220.
Why is cholesterol elevated, doctor?
So,
Kirti Lakshmi, why cholesterol elevated? Hypoalbuminemia produce what? It increases synthesis of
Hypoalbuminemia, how you got because of what? Where it is lost? Hypoalbuminemia secondary to what?
Is due to shift of the
no. My
fluids.
hypoalbuminemia there. Okay, what happened? It increases synthesis of all proteins. So what happened? It produces lipoprotein.
Lipoproteins.
Yeah. So it itself produces increased cholesterol. Yeah. Okay. Right. So another thing is you have to look for the complement also. You have to look for. Suppose
Yes,
if the complement should be normal in the blood. In case of nephrotic
normal, sir. Nephritic, the
yeah, it
C3
may
complements.
always look for the complement level also if any doubt. Okay, right. What are other tests you have to look for? Important test. Before I want to start steroid, no, I want to do one test. Nowadays we are decreasing, but it's still they are asking.
We don't give much importance, but anyway, you have to do all examiners and all. Will be definitely asking you. One test you have to do to rule out some infection before starting steroids. What test you will do to rule out some infection?
So you have to rule out what infection you have to rule out. I think history you are told. No family history of
Tuberculosis, sir. Tuberculosis.
Yeah. So you have to rule
Tuberculosis. Manto's test, sir.
Yeah, Mando, I think nowadays the significance of Mando has come down now. So you have to lot of alternative tests also there. Okay, you have to rule out the tuberculosis, important thing. Okay.
So sir has come now. We can just summarize. Okay, Professor Ramchandran sir has come back. So we can just summarize what are the investigations that you have told.
Sorry, sir, there is some disruption.
No problem, sir. That's okay. So we just ask her to summarize, sir. Okay, what are investigations that she will do in this patient?
Fine. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible now?
Audible.
Audible,
Okay, sir. Thank you. Proceed, ma. Proceed. I could get whatever the test you mentioned. I got it. Do you have the values in this child? Any idea? Do you know the values, Geeta Lakshmi, in this child?
No,
No,
sir.
sir, actually, we don't know the values.
You don't know. Okay, fine. No problem. Fine.
So how do you manage that?
Do you have to do an ultrasound abdomen? Geeta Lakshmi? Do you require an ultrasound abdomen?
No, sir.
I think there is some difficulty from my side.
Yeah.
Telling no.
No, sir.
No, why? That sir
There
is
is
asking ultrasound now.
lot
Why?
of
We
disturbance.
generally do ultrasound with some other specific features. Doppler also we can do it. When will you do it?
Sir, when I
So only if you
suspect
suspect some
thrombosis,
complication or some other problem. Okay. Otherwise, you don't have to routinely do it. Whatever investigations you have said is quite sufficient to start the treatment.
So unless you are suspecting RBT,
Will you do a renal function, ma? Will you do a blood urea, creatinine? Will you do that?
no, sir. I'll do only urine protein creatinine, sir.
Okay. These are the things it can be done. Okay. You can do a blood urea, creatinine. Sometimes, if you are doubtful whether it is a nephritis, okay, or sometimes even due to some hypovolemia, there can be some prerenal urea level may go up. So sometimes there can be some changes, but you should know why you are doing it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
You can even do the serum electrolytes sometimes. Okay. So depending on the exact clinical situation. Basically, what you said is very correct. Do the urine examination, protein creatinine ratio, you do the cholesterol levels. Okay. That should be quite fine. And test to rule out tuberculosis. Okay, what do you do after this? How are you going to manage this?
Or the cholesterol level is high and the serum albumin is very low, okay, and the urine albumin is 4+. Okay, you are confirming the diagnosis of nephrotic syndrome. So how will you proceed treating this patient, ma? The first episode of nephrotic syndrome.
Sir, the first episode first, I'll have a salt restriction to the patient, sir. Because the salt restriction itself reduces the edema. So the salt restriction must be that extra salt shouldn't be added to the food. The sodium available in the food naturally should be used up. And
what do you mean
fluid.
by no added salt? Means what do you mean by no added salt? You are telling no added salt or salt restriction?
No added salt.
Sir, salt restriction, sir.
No, I'm going to add salt or not?
So instead of spelling
no added salt.
terms like this, you tell specifically whatever is normally present in the food you will give. You will not give high salt containing foods like what are the things you should avoid?
Pickles, sir.
Pickle, correct.
And fried fishes.
Yeah, like chips. Okay, papad. These are all high salt containing things
And
that you can avoid.
food items. Packed food
Fine.
items.
The important thing
okay.
is no
So
added
tell
salt.
specifically
Okay. So no added salt means that also containing
no added salt. Correct.
500 milligram of salt per day you will get it. If you are not adding salt,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
That means already that means not a salt free.
That's okay.
Okay, right.
Specific,
Sir,
Proceed, ma.
proceed. Specific treatment.
sir, a specific treatment is
Will you
needed.
restrict the fluids?
The fluid restriction must be in correlation with the urine output and the insensible water loss, sir.
Yeah. So all
And
the
the
things you can always correlate with the severity. In a child with a breathlessness, severe anasarca, there can be some more of fluid restriction and salt restriction. Child is having only mild edema. There is no need. The child himself or herself will regulate its own fluid intake.
Yes.
Okay. So you go by the clinical situation.
Yes, sir.
There is no same this thing for all children. It will differ based on the severity. Okay. Can you use diuretic?
If it
Child
is
is
going to be
edematous.
severely edematous, only diuretics
Very
and
good, very
also
good.
the
Okay.
diuretics use should be constricted, sir.
Very
Not
good.
liberal
So,
usage. Not
there can be problems because of diuretic. Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
And the
Proceed.
specific treatment includes the steroid therapy,
Specific
sir.
treatment?
Steroid therapy, sir. So the child is started on prednisolone.
Proceed, ma.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah, audibly proceed. Yeah.
So the specific treatment is the steroid
Proceed.
therapy, sir.
You're audible.
Steroid therapy, sir. So the
Yes.
steroid is
Yes,
prednisolone.
I'm getting it. Proceed.
Prednisolone, sir.
Okay.
So the prednisolone
Okay.
treatment is for 12 weeks, and it is split up as 6 weeks, and the first 6 weeks and the next 6 weeks. For the first 6 weeks, the dosage of prednisolone is 2 milligram per kg per day, given every day, and for the next 6 weeks, 1.5 milligram per kg per day on alternate days. It is given, sir.
Preferably as a single dose.
Yes, sir. Then after 12 weeks, the child should be examined for the remission, that is decrease of the edema and proteinuria, no edema, and serum albumin more than 3.5 gram per deciliter, and proteinuria should be trace or nil.
Do we have to check at the end of 12 weeks or we have to check it daily, ma? Is there something called as renal charting you do in nephrotic syndrome? What is
Yes,
renal
sir.
charting? What exactly things you have to monitor when a
Sir,
patient is admitted in the ward? What are
The patient should be monitored for the weight, abdominal gut,
Yes.
then blood pressure,
Yes.
and
Urine,
urine protein, sir.
urine proteins, and also our input output. Okay.
Okay.
The input output daily we have to come and see what is the input output. Okay, daily weight we have to see. Okay, the abdominal girth. Okay, and urine albumin, that will give you an idea. Okay, whether the child is really improving or deteriorating. Okay, so how do you know that the patient is going into remission, ma? Kirti Lakshmi, how do you know?
Sir, the child shows decrease in the edema, and the urine protein will start to decrease from +4 to +3, and then +2, and the serum albumin level will start to increase, sir.
What is the definition?
At the end of the
What is the definition of remission?
sir, the definition is no edema, serum albumin more than
Not with the serum albumin. Anybody can answer? Dr. Prashant, Mr. Prashant. So what is the definition of remission?
Sir, not sure, sir.
Okay. Kumar, anybody?
Kirti, this Charles is selling remission. Clinically, how will you assess, doctor? Leave it a urinary examination. How will you clinically assess? Baby is going for remission or not?
so the anasarca will start to
What
reduce,
do you
sir.
say, anasarca?
Generalized body edema, sir.
Okay, so how will you clinically, I am telling this no anasarca not reduced. You are telling anasarca better. How will you
What you
assess?
will monitor, ma, to see whether the child is really improving.
So one is the abdominal gut, sir. When the abdominal distension starts to decrease, then assessment of the pedal edema, sir. The recoiling time, sir. Once the edema starts to decrease, the recoiling time also will decrease.
And one more thing you told in the beginning. Daily you have to monitor something.
Weight, sir.
Yeah, one is weight. Definitely you have to wait daily monitoring of weight. Another one is urine output. Okay, baby start to diuresis after starting steroid 5 to 7 days
yes.
of steroid. Baby will have diuresis. Daily that weight monitoring is very, very, very important parameter. Simple thing, but you can suppose the baby you told now 18 kg after starting steroid, you know, they take 17.5 or 17. No, that's a good indicator. Okay, that's a weight monitoring is must. You have to every day you have to ask the sister if you are admitted. No, you have to look for the weight monitoring. Okay. Suppose you started steroid, doctor, that after 10 days, now that baby is coming with abdomen pain. Okay, so simple abdomen pain, only no fever, only abdomen pain. What will you do? Kirti, understand my question?
Yes, sir. Only abdominal pain the patient complains.
What will you do? What's your next course of action? Because these children know what happened. They may not get fever because already started steroid. Okay.
Spontaneous bacterial peritonitis.
So until proven otherwise, you have to think of bacterial peritonitis. That's very, very important thing. So never miss it, that one. Okay. Sir, you can proceed, sir. Yeah.
Okay, what is remission, ma? If nobody is answering, means we will just let you know. So every day you have to check for urine albumin. If the urine albumin is nil or trace for 3 consecutive days. For 3 days, if it is nil or trace, then you can definitely be very sure that the child is going into remission. Okay? It is very, very important to know, okay, if the child is going into remission. As sir has told, you also have to look for urine output. You have to look for daily weight. That also will give us an idea. Okay? So for, as rightly told by you, for a patient whose first episode of nephrotic syndrome, okay, you have to give 6 weeks of daily steroids at 2 milligram per kg per day. Okay, maximum how much you can give? What is the maximum dose? Suppose the child is 40 kg, okay, so 2 milligram per kg will be 80 milligrams. So we can give up to 80 milligram, or what is the maximum dose allowed? Do you have any idea? Maximum is only up to 60 milligram we can give. Okay, so you have to give 2 milligram per kg per day for 6 weeks. Okay, as divided doses or as single dose, but preferably divided doses. And then followed by 1.5 milligram per kg per day on alternate days as a single dose, preferably in the morning for next 6 weeks. Okay. So the rightly told by you, 6 weeks of daily steroids and 6 weeks of alternate day steroids. That is the treatment for this child. Okay. Mostly we have to.
What is steroid dependence, ma? Are you aware of dependence?
The steroid dependence is occurrence of 2 episodes within during the steroid therapy, or within after 14 days of stoppage of the steroid therapy, sir.
What is steroid resistance?
Steroid resistant is that even after 4 to 8 weeks of steroid therapy, there is persistent proteinuria and the edema has not even decreased, then it is steroid resistance.
What are the chances of this child for this child? Will this child be steroid responsive or resistant?
Responding, sir. It will be known only after 4
So
weeks.
how will you know? What are on what basis you are telling this? You must be having some reason. What is the steroid response in generally in nephrotic syndrome in children?
Oh, okay. When you start steroids, what will happen to the proteinuria? Like, because there is asking in correlation with proteinuria. Okay, so when you start steroids, okay, how soon they will respond, and what you will monitor in the urine when you start steroids.
I'll monitor the urine albumin and protein content in the urine, sir. So once I start the steroids, the urine proteinuria will be decreasing from +3 to +2 and it will come down, sir. If it's going to be a steroid resistant,
so generally by what day you can expect the response? You are starting today. What you said is right for resistance, steroid resistance, but generally most of the cases, by what day they will become trace or nil protein? 1 week, 2 weeks?
4 weeks, sir.
Usually by 1 to 2 weeks, they will start, they will become almost negative. Okay. You can see the response.
Okay.
But still, for the sake of definition, you have to continue for 4 weeks or even more before labeling them as steroid resistant.
Okay.
So what are the, about the childhood nephrotic syndrome, whether they are, most of them are steroid sensitive or resistant?
Steroid sensitive. The most common lesion in the most common cause is minimal change disease, sir. Minimal change nephrotic syndrome, which is a steroid sensitive, sir.
Okay. So can you just tell us about the classification of nephrotic syndrome now?
One is the minimal change.
Based on the, you are telling about the, based on the pathology. I'm just asking clinically.
Primary and
very good.
Primary and secondary.
Primary, secondary, congenital or
congenital.
infantile.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 3. Primary is no cause. like this
Yes,
case. Secondary
yes,
is
due to
there are many
SLE or
secondary
syphilis.
causes. Correct. Okay.
Drugs.
The
Yes,
child
sir.
may have IgA nephropathy. The child may have some other conditions like SLE. Okay. What you said is right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Congenital or infantile is when it occurs within the first year.
First 3 months. Sir.
Okay. Correct. Fine. Okay. So then going on the based on the histology or the the underlying structural changes. So what you said is minimal change.
Yes.
What are the other things? One or two other things you can say? Classification.
Focal focal
Glomerulosclerosis.
segmental glomerulosclerosis and membranoproliferative
Okay.
glomerulosclerosis.
Okay. Okay. So other than minimal change, there are likely to be more steroid resistance.
Steroid resistance. Sir.
Okay. Agreed. Okay. So what is the long-term prognosis for this child?
Sir,
Will this child get again another attack, or what will you tell the mother at the time of sending home?
The parental education regarding that. Okay, what do you like?
sir, the parents should be taught a minimal intense dipstick tests of cancer to monitor the
No,
urine.
can it recur or it cannot recur?
Sir, most commonly the nephrotic syndrome will recur, sir.
Okay, the relapses are common in nephrotic
the-
syndrome. Yeah. Okay.
So the mother should be educated so that she can find and come to us
Yes.
at the early stages of the relapse.
Fine. Even before edema appears, if they can afford, they can look for this. Otherwise, even the early stages of some puffiness, something, they should come back.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
Till what age this relapses will happen?
Sir, once they enter into the adolescent age, the chances of relapse will decrease, sir.
Correct. Good. Okay. You know. Okay. Very good. Okay. Good. So we will, unless there are some other questions, we will stop here. So are you aware of any other drugs which are being used for nephrotic syndrome? Those who are frequent relapses or steroid dependent?
Cyclophosphamide and levimazole, sir.
Levimazole, okay. Mycophenolate, mofetil. So there are many other drugs. Cyclosporin. Okay. A lot of other drugs are also being used. Immunomodulators. They are also being used. What is that? Will you do a kidney biopsy for this child, ma?
I'll not do kidney biopsy for this child, sir. But when the nephrotic syndrome occurs below 1 year or above 8 years, I'll prefer a renal biopsy, sir.
Okay.
Persistent hypertension.
Yes.
Good.
Persistent low C3 level.
Okay.
When there is a strong family history of nephrotic syndrome. Then for this child, after starting the
will you do
steroid
for
therapy,
less than 1 year? Will you do for less than 1 year?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Will you do if the child is not responding to steroids?
Yes, sir. Because
so steroid
that may be
resistant.
steroid resistance to find out.
Yes, you may have to start some other drugs which may be nephrotoxic. So before that, you have to do a biopsy, kidney biopsy, and also know what is the underlying problem, very SLE or anything. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you may have to do the biopsy. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Will you give this child immunization? Now you have started steroids. This child did not have a pneumococcal vaccine. Will you give this child vaccine?
No, sir. When the steroid doses are over, when the child is off of the steroids, only I'll give the vaccine, sir. During the period, I'll not give, sir.
Very good. Okay. So there are 2 vaccines available: conjugate vaccine, polysaccharide vaccine. You can read about it, how to give these vaccines. Sir, I think we are just in time. Anything else you want to ask, sir?
No, sir. No, sir. Most of the questions.
The candidates, any one of them want to ask any questions? They are most welcome. I didn't see any question in the chat box also. I saw only some good morning and good afternoon things. Somebody said, do we need to check potassium level when we put the patient on steroid? Generally not required.
If you are starting in last 6, I think that Furosemide you can have a potassium level. Okay.
Yeah, so if you are using diuretics, or sometimes if you think that is a nephritic component, that can become a hyperkalemia. Okay, otherwise generally the potassium may not. Same way sodium also, generally routinely we do not do the electrolytes, but it can be done.
Sir, what
Sometimes
about
initially because of there can be some ADH secretion, hyponatremia can be seen. Okay.
sir?
And
What about
hypocalcemia can be
albumin?
seen because of proteinuria, but it's a ionized calcium will be normal.
And another thing is may go for
Sir, what about albumin?
hyponatremia one thing. So if you're,
Sir?
hyponatremia, one of the complications you have to expect. Okay.
Yeah, hyponatremia can occur because of ADH stimulation due to hypovolemia. You can get it.
Yeah. So shall we finish up, Sam?
Yeah, if there are no questions, sir, Arun Kumar, sir, you
Yes,
want to
sir.
say anything, sir?
Go
Okay.
for the question.
Rajendra, sir.
Yeah.
Very
So,
happy.
yeah,
Sir, you can give your concluding remarks, Rajendra, sir.
Yeah. So I
Thank you
think,
so much.
yeah.
Thanks, ma. That girl really, she did very well. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
actually,
so much.
all the things which she was able to answer, she was able to think and answer. All the best, ma. So you are all doing
Thank you,
very
sir.
well. I'm
Thank
so happy. Okay.
Thank you very much. Sir.
It is a time for to end the program. On behalf of IAP TNSC, I thank today moderator Dr. Ramachandran sir. He's one of the renowned figure in Tamil Nadu. Okay, he's currently he's SRMC. And I thank Dr. Arul Kumaran sir, HOD Pediatrics, Sri Manakula Vinayagar. And I thank today's presenter, also Kirti Lashmi. Okay. And I thank Dr. Tirumurugan who has organized this event very well. Tirumurugan.
Solung, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Yeah. I think he's a part-time officer. Okay. I thank Tirumurugan also. I think more than that, I thank all the students who have attended this event. And if any feedback, I think Prasad, any feedback?